Between the Covers. I'm Stephanie, and I'm your host. What is Between the Covers? Well, you can let your mind wander for a moment, but it is the show for people who are readers and writers and lovers of books. And we're thrilled that you're here to join us tonight. And what do I know about books? Well, sponsoring Between the Covers is Red Penguin Books, an independent publishing company right here in New York. And we work with authors of all kinds of books in getting their books printed and published and promoted. So if you've got a book in you, go to redpenguinbooks.com. We're also so happy to have other sponsors who have made this possible. Don Pablo Coffee. Beans are sourced from small, authentic farms in the best coffee growing regions in the world. If you like your coffee, you'll like Don Pablo Coffee. And Faluzzi Law Firm. Faluzzi Law Firm was founded with the specific intent to amplify the value of business advice needed by today's business owner. Joe Faluzzi is an attorney, but took the forward-thinking step of combining that with his skill as a CPA to provide the fiscal responsibility and know-how that is required of today's most savvy and successful business owners. This unique skill set is used to assist small business owners with navigating the complexity of tax and business planning, estate planning, elder law, and all real estate matters. So please support our sponsors as they support us, and we're so happy to have them. And now, let's welcome our first guest, reader and entrepreneur, Roberta Diamond. Woo!
Hello.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you
Have a seat. Look at you.
Thank you for having me.
Well, this is good. You wore black. You stand out on the red sofa.
That's funny.
So, RD Boutique. Tell us a little bit about what is that?
It's an online store for artists and craft. I've recently trademarked a design, and now I'm looking to brand myself.
Look at that. Okay, so it's a boutique for artists and crafts.
Right.
people?
Paint. I sell the acrylic paints, the brushes.
Right.
The airbrushes.
Really? Now, is there a place for us to go or a website?
Yes.
Where should
It's rdboutique.com is the website.
Okay.
If you want to do walk-in, it's 16 McCarthy Road, Island Park.
Really? Oh, fantastic.
Yes.
Now, artists like painting things?
Painting things. It could be children. Now it's Halloween time. You can use the paints to paint for the kids to paint the gourds.
Wow. Do you paint?
Not exactly.
So you sell it, but you don't paint.
I dabble at it, but
All
I'm
right,
not
that
really
makes two of us who don't paint here.
I help my son growing up with his projects.
All right, all right. Yeah. And you told me something else when we were chatting
Yes,
that I loved.
also own, I work in the library.
I love that. Which
Which
library?
West Hempstead.
Okay, and what do you do at the West Hempstead
I put
Library?
the books away. I'm a page.
So you know where everything goes.
Yeah, in this particular
Do you
library.
see this person here? This is who's going to tell you where everything goes in the library. Do they still use that whole number system?
Yes, they use the number system, and they also go by author, and depends on the books. The nonfiction is all by numbers.
Oh, okay. And the fiction is
By author and authors.
Okay. Now, while you're putting the books away, do you get any insight? Like, do some look very well used and loved?
Yes, some do. And of course, the newer books are in newer sections of the library.
Okay.
So newer books are usually about a year old and in a certain section.
Okay. So you could tell which ones are kind of the hot item.
Right.
All
like
right.
like Patterson.
Oh, James Patterson. Okay. So everyone's borrowing that one
Yes.
lately, huh? It's very funny because later in our news section, I have a little list of books that are the most abandoned books, the ones that people start and then they just kind of leave them. Do you see that?
Yes, and what happens is in young adults, West Hempstead Library keeps the books that other libraries don't like them to keep. So for the month of September, they had put bookmarks in the books so that they would be noticed.
I like that. I like that. You've been in the library for a while.
About a year.
Do people read?
Yes.
Oh, thank God.
People do read.
People read. Do you hear that? People
read, yes. And unfortunately, a lot of people probably read on the Kindle today.
Well, that's fine. That's fine as long as they're reading something.
Yes.
You know, it's very funny when we announced we were doing this show, a couple of people said to me, is it okay if I just see the movie? And I said, I mean, I guess. But I'm delighted to hear people read.
Crazy Rich Asian.
Oh, I have
is
that in my pile, I think, here.
I was going to say, which I found out afterwards. I didn't realize it was 3 books. I happened to really enjoy the first book, and then I went and saw the movie.
I did too. I read the first book, and then I saw the movie. Which one did you like better, book or movie?
Different.
Yes.
Different.
You know, it's my job as a publisher to always tell people, read the book. The book is better. That's what I always have to say. But I have to tell you, in Crazy Rich Asians, they had 2 scenes, and I won't give them away because I do want you to read the book and see the movie. But there were 2 scenes in the movie that were not in the book.
That's usually the case.
Which were terrific. But by the same token, I watched the movie with a group of people, and I'm really glad I read the book because I ended up telling them, by the way, that's his sister-in-law. By the way, that's the mother. Like, they had no idea who all these people were.
That's funny. And I did it back the other way around. I saw the movie.
Oh,
and I
okay.
read the book.
And then you read the book and you said, that's what was going on.
No, I figured out what was going
Did you?
on as I was reading it.
Oh,
yes.
okay. So please, Crazy Rich Asians, read the book and see the movie.
Absolutely.
They're both terrific. Oh, we have that in common.
There you go.
All right, our next guest, who is my favorite guest ever on TV, stay there, is my mom, Chris Ruggieri. Welcome, my mom.
Hello.
I can't have a show without my mom.
I brought my books.
And she's my mother and she reads. And you two got to meet backstage.
Yes.
And we both read Crazy Rich Asians. You didn't read that.
I haven't read that, no.
I know, because what have you been busy reading? Go ahead, you might as well say it once to get us started. Outlander. My mother is a little bit obsessed with Outlander. I was toying with having a little chalkboard here, and every time you said the word Outlander, we were going to put a little niche. Anyone want to put some money on how many times she's going to say Outlander in the next hour? There are other books besides the Outlander
Oh, yes,
books.
indeed, there certainly are.
Ooh,
Look.
She's got some books here.
Yes. I have the latest
Oh,
Steve Berry
okay.
book because I always love Steve Berry.
Okay, my husband too.
Yes, I know that's
Did you
something
borrow
we-
that from him?
No.
Okay.
Well, yes, maybe I did. Oh, look what this one is. It's Outlander.
It's Outlander! What a surprise!
It's the 4th book of Outlander. Because it's got 8 books. And this is the latest thing that you can see my bookmark.
There's your bookmark.
I'm
She's
still
reading.
this.
Okay.
My wonderful son-in-law's sisters gave this to me for my birthday.
Oh, okay.
The whole
series.
The whole series.
Is there a movie yet for us who want to watch the movie?
Oh, and this is a book that I just finished. It's about a
I told you she reads.
7th century nun who solves
And
murders.
do I have? Oh, I must have left Crazy Rich Asians at home. I thought I had it here in the pile. I have some other books that I just read, but that one was a good one. So if you weren't sure, Mom recommends Outlander. Fortunately, Outlander is not just a series of books, and each book is what, 800 pages long?
1,000, yes.
1,000 pages long?
Yeah.
But it's also a TV series. So if you can't read the books,
Because they really are long.
they really.
But the books are better.
I agree.
the books are always
I
better.
agree.
But the one that I brought is
Too big, and they're making a mess here now.
it's the 4th of the series, and that's what they're
That's the TV
that's
thing?
the TV. The TV is going to have the 4th of the series this year. So
All right. Well, one of my favorite authors is going to be up next. So let's just take a little break to see some of our sponsors, and then we're going to welcome author Jim Ryan.
The sun is getting warmer, but when we soar away among the clouds, the sky is just a border, but when we're floating up like helium.
Welcome back to Between the Covers. And now we're going to welcome one of my favorite authors, Jim Ryan, motivational speaker and author of Simple Happiness. Thank you so much for joining us. And you're here to bring some simple happiness to us, but I think we're pretty happy already.
I think so. So far.
So far, so good. But you bring simple happiness all over. You're a motivational speaker. How far, what's the furthest away?
California,
Okay, that's pretty far.
Salinas, California.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Didn't you do something like Idaho or Montana or something?
Montana, yes, I spoke to the National Guard Auxiliary, friends and family, friends of the people in the National Guard who are deployed overseas, so they get together to support each other and just to have a good time together. And they brought me out to give a talk a little bit about happiness.
Wow. How cool. Isn't that the
Yeah,
coolest
that
thing?
is cool.
Nice
Okay,
people,
and of
nice
course-
people.
And we get him tonight. I love that. That's fantastic. That's absolutely fantastic. So, how did you get into this simple happiness?
Well, it's been a progression of my life, really. I started off as a teacher. I used to teach in a junior high school. I taught French and Italian. I was a guidance counselor.
I had no idea about the French and Italian.
Sono stato professore di italiano e di francese molti anni fa. J'étais professeur, professeur
Okay,
de
he's-
français. Okay, that's enough.
Killing me. I took 6 years of French,
Well,
and I recognize that some of that was
Right.
French.
At the end.
that was Italian.
Oh
It was Italian.
no! 6 years of French, and I didn't even recognize it.
Anyway, I was a guidance counselor, but in the summers I managed a tennis club out in the Hamptons, and it was a great dovetailed position, working in the winter in the schools and in the summer out in the Hamptons. And 8 years at this tennis club, I was rubbing shoulders with millionaires from New York. And I decided after 8 years to use the connections that I had there to get into business. So I got into business and was a financial advisor for over 20 years. But I've always been interested in personal development. I've always read a lot, gone to seminars, listened to tapes. And back in the year 2000, I just realized I had all of this stuff in my head. And I said, what's the point of having it in my head? I got to get it out of my head. So I spoke to some friends, and I was directed to the jail out in Eastern Long Island. And for the last 18 years, every Monday, I go there and I teach a class in personal development to men and women who are locked up for multiple DWIs. And it was a turning point for me. They like the program, they shake my hand, they say thank you. It just fills me up to go there. And about 3 years into that, I said, if these folks like it, why wouldn't people on the outside like it? Right. So I came up with a talk, took a couple of the units that I teach at the jail, and I wrote to libraries and I started giving talks about how to be happy. And one thing led to another, and I wrote this book called Simple Happiness, 52 Easy Ways to Lighten Up. And I've traveled all over the country giving talks about how to be happy. You mentioned California, Montana, all over the place. It's so much fun. I mean, who's got a better job than me? Talking to people about how to be happy.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you do, but
Yeah, I love my job, but wow.
yeah, it's exciting. I just last week I spoke at a staff day for Options for Community Living. That's a nonprofit that helps people get housing, whether they're addicts, whether they're mentally ill, whether they got emotional problems. But at least these people can get a roof over their heads so they can start to make some progress to get back into the society. And I spoke at their staff day, and it was a wonderful experience.
Wow.
Yeah, it's good
You do
stuff.
have a fabulous job.
Thank you.
And when I mentioned that you were going to be on the show, so many people messaged me, I love Jim Ryan. You have no idea how many people have been messaging me all week. I love Jim Ryan. You hear that? His fan club out there?
And Roberta and I know each other from making contacts. At
Really?
different
Yes.
Oh, I had no idea. And you came tonight, and
I didn't realize he was going to be here tonight.
isn't that wild?
Yes.
Isn't that wild? So you weren't one of the million people who emailed me this week to say, I love Jim Ryan.
Yeah, well, I would have been one of the million
You
people
see?
if I had realized.
I should have worn my I love Jim Ryan t-shirt.
I have a few backstage. Oh, God.
You have books, you have DVDs, you have, because anyway, we want to take you home with us.
Be my guest.
Well, you know, we have wine and cheese. If you come home with us, I promise to feed you.
I've had a little wine already, so.
Well, this is good. This
Yes,
is
it
good.
is.
That's because later on we're going to play that Name That Book game, and we want everybody all
Okay,
ready for that
okay, I'm
one.
ready.
Now, you're speaking about happiness in a jail. And I'm guessing that, you know, we're all happy already here because they're all drinking wine here, by the way. So our audience is very, very happy. Actually, better than wine. Since it's our premiere episode, we're drinking Prosecco because a little bubbly. So we're all happy.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
You know, you go to the jail and they don't have a glass of wine and they're not really having a good day, week, month, year, life.
My focus is to take them where they are and just give them strategies, practical strategies, so that they can take their life and, you know, I say, the idea is to be a better person next year than you are today. And if you're going to do something, you got to make some changes in your life. So we start off with you know, changing our thoughts, because our thoughts is where it all happens. You know,
Right.
we think we're our thoughts, but really thoughts are just thoughts. So if we can train our brain to let go of those negatives that you know, these guys in the jail, the girls in the jail, they're bound up with negativity. You know?
Right,
So
sure.
we just try to give them some strategies to make their life a little happier, a little less disturbable. And while they're in the jail, if they can get a running start, and rather than wait till they get out and now what do? We're giving them some things to work on while they're incarcerated.
Right.
Jim, you mentioned that they're mostly in jail for DWI items, not for.
Violent crimes.
The sheriff has a special program for the DWI people. You know, the jail is full of other criminals and all different kinds
Yeah,
of
right.
things. But they've put me in the DWI program. So I guess I'm not sure why that happened, but I didn't ask any questions. It just, you know, started that way, and I've stayed with it. And you know, they're just people. You know, unfortunately,
Yes.
you know, they have a problem, and they're locked up because they have a problem. Hopefully, they can, you know, get rehabilitated, and hopefully, I can be a small part of that.
And help
Amazing.
help change their thinking.
That's it. Yeah, it's not easy.
When do you get to see it happen, or do they come to you and tell you, or you know?
Every once in a while, it's just happened, you know, twice. There's an Italian restaurant around the corner from me, and one of the guys working at the restaurant said, "Jim." It's so crazy. I do.
So he was one of your.
He was one of my students. Yes, he was one of my students.
And now he's working, and
Well, that's it. He's got it. You know, he's back out in this. You know, hopefully turned his life around. He's got a job. He's productive, and
Right,
you know,
right.
it's hopefully running into me reminds him of a few things. And I was out in West Hampton years ago, and there was a family having a lunch at a diner. Actually, it was Hampton Bays, and I walked in and sat down. I was meeting a client, and he stood up and say, "Jim, a thought is just a thought." You know,
He remembered.
some stuff gets through. Yeah.
He remembered.
Yeah.
What is that one? A thought is just a thought.
Well, it's just to let people know my thoughts are not my life. They're just thoughts. We all have good thoughts and bad thoughts, but the idea is we choose which thoughts we hang on to.
Okay.
And if we decide, and so many of us are choosing to hang on to the thoughts that make us feel lousy, that hold us back, that limit us.
You're
And so if
right.
we can let go of those limiting negative thoughts, our life can expand in any direction we want to go.
You know, you're right. There are people who, and you meet them and you want to shake them. You don't. You're much nicer than that. I want to shake them and say, stop thinking like that.
yeah, stop all the negativity.
You know, you just want, boom,
Yeah.
snap out of it. But, I mean, that's me. You don't do that. You're much nicer.
We try to do it softly.
You don't smack them like Cher in
No.
the movie. Snap out of it.
No, you got to be careful, you know.
I'm sure. Does it get frustrating sometimes?
No, it's never
Look
frustrating.
how positive he is.
It just,
no,
you know,
never.
One of my gifts is I remember everybody's name. My father told me years ago, there's
what
no
a gift.
sound so
God.
sweet as the sound of your own name.
Yes.
So from the beginning, I would write down the guys' names and I would memorize them, and I would walk in and I would greet them as they come in. Hi, Tom. Hi, George. Hi, you know, and they just, they're like butter. Once they know that you care enough to know who they are, that's a real compliment when you remember
God, I
somebody's
wish I
name.
had that
Absolutely.
gift.
It's
What
a-
did you say your name was again? I
It's
just don't.
Jim, Sally. Okay?
Do you do like a trick, or do you just have the gift?
Well, it's a gift.
is.
I try to picture the face and so on. It's just a gift, and
Wow.
you don't have much opportunity to practice it, but when there are those people in front of me, that's a real good opportunity
Right.
to practice that skill.
Right.
Another guy jumped off a delivery truck in Northport where I live, and he was one of the guys who just got out of the jail, and he was so happy to see me, and I was so happy to see him. Just guys, being productive, overcoming their difficulties. It's great to see.
Right. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
They are so lucky you walked into that jail.
Right?
I'm so lucky I walked into that jail. It's turned into a whole new career for me. What did I know? Who knew? Who knew 20 years ago that I would write a book? It's just that
A
opportunity.
book?
See,
We have a pile of
well,
things
yeah,
over here.
yeah. So often we have an opportunity to do something in life, and we say, I'm not going to do that. We say no to opportunities. I try to get people to say yes to an opportunity because you never know where it's going to lead. It may not be, the key to success and happiness, but you never know who you're going to meet along the way. If you say yes to opportunities, life could be wonderful.
You're absolutely right. And so many people think they just stay where they are.
Well, that's their
They're
thought.
stuck.
I can't do that. I'm not strong enough. I'm not educated enough. I don't have a degree. I don't have enough money. I don't. They're all choices that we're telling ourselves.
Negative thoughts.
And
it.
fear.
And fear.
Fear, sure. Yeah.
And fear, that's probably the biggest negative thought.
Right.
Well, let's have a positive thought. We'll be back with Jim after a couple of words from our sponsors. Thank you. And welcome back to Between the Covers. Thanks for joining us. We are so fortunate to have author Jim Ryan with us here today, and we are going to can I have one of his books? The Under the Phone. Yes.
Yes, here you
Pass
go.
me one of those.
Yes.
Thank you. And look at this. It's bright yellow because it's happiness. I love that. We're going to have a little game to see who's going to win a copy of Jim's book. You're going to see a quote from a book up on the screen, and the first caller who calls into the number is 516-945-9009. The first caller who calls in with the correct answer is going to win a copy of Simple Happiness, 52 Easy Ways to Lighten Up. So let's take a look at today's quote. Beware, for I am fearless and therefore powerful. This is just for our audience at home. Beware, for I am fearless and therefore powerful. I'll ask them later and see if they get it right. So please be the first caller at 516-945-9009, and you can win a copy of Jim Ryan's Simple Happiness. So I'm so glad you're here with us today.
I'm happy to be here.
And you're teaching us things. That's the most important thing.
Wow.
So far we've learned our thoughts are just thoughts. And you're so right, because people get stuck. And the other thing is don't get stuck. We always need to be growing. And I love that, I know you are, you just started volunteering at the library a year ago.
Right.
growing and doing something outside of yourself, and your business is growing, and my mother is just growing in a million different directions. I can't even keep up with her,
But,
right?
you know,
I
had
can't even
to-
keep up.
I just want to say to Jim, you are so right about knowing people's names, because I volunteer at a nursing home, and they get so thrilled when I walk in and I know what their names are. And I'm not good like you. I don't have that that gift. So I'm really working on it, but it's a
Their
wonderful
face
gift.
lights up. You know, they're
Yes,
just,
absolutely.
Yeah, they
Oh
feel
my
great.
goodness!
It's a
I
compliment.
must be important because
Yes.
she remembers who I am.
Yeah.
You know.
It's important. It is.
And
it's
those
a gift.
people, whether it's in a nursing home or a jail, they need to know that they're important.
Sure.
Yeah. I wish I had that gift. Do you have a secret, a trick, something?
No.
I wish the whole world wore name tags.
They're always saying that.
I
yes.
always say that, and you know, it wouldn't be as special. When you remember someone, it's not, you know, it wouldn't be as special if they were all wearing
Right.
name tags. Okay, so since I don't have that gift, what else can I do
What else can you do?
to spread happiness? Something.
There's been a lot of studies since, back, Martin Seligman became the president of the American Psychological Association, and he introduced the concept of positive psychology. And since about the year 2000, there's been all kinds of studies about happiness.
Really?
There used to be all studies about neuroses and psychoses and depression and all that stuff, but now they're studying happiness. And the prevailing wisdom is that about 100% of our happiness quotient, 50% is genetic. We're born of parents. We have tendencies that we've inherited from our parents. And I underline the word tendencies because that's all they are, is tendencies. If my parents were, the life of the party, chances are I've got an outgoing personality. If my parents were quiet, chances are I've inherited some of those qualities. 10% is our circumstance. Did we grow up in a safe neighborhood, or was it dangerous to go out? Did we go to a good school, or were the hooligans running it? That's 10%. And you know what the other 40% is? What we do with what we have. So we're not stuck. We have 40% of our happiness is based on what we do with what we have. Right. So I throw it right back into people's laps about, you're fashioning your life by the choices you make, by the thoughts you hang on to. Right. So and our self-talk is so important. We're talking to ourselves about ourselves all day long, and that talk that we tell ourselves about ourselves is deep-seated in our subconscious, and that really rules the day. So we've got to really be careful what we tell ourselves about ourselves, because if we're telling ourselves negative things,
Is that a caller?
That's a telephone.
Do you have an answer for our question?
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to Between the
Yes.
Covers.
Yes, I'm watching Jim Ryan. He's really great.
I know he's really great. That's why we got him for the premiere episode. We want to be really great just like Jim.
Well, look, I think that was from Mary Shelley.
Very good. And the name of the book is?
Oh, I don't know the name of the book, but
Well, you got the author. Yes, you do. If you know the name, if you know the author, you know the name of the book.
I'm not sure about the name of the book. I just remember the quote.
that was the question.
Anyway.
Who did the quote?
Well, that's true. The question was, who did the quote? Do any of my audience members here know what the name of the book is?
Frankenstein.
Yes. Well,
Anyway, tell my friend Jim Ryan he's doing a great job.
well, Jim,
This
you
is
heard that
Dr.
yourself.
Cron.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And listen, thank you for being so smart and knowing where a quote is from. And
And tell Jim to keep his book, because I already have a copy, and I've enjoyed it very much.
boy, oh boy, who knew? I don't even have to I get one for me. Look at
You
this.
got fans, right?
Well, thank you very much for calling. What's your name?
Dr. John Cron.
I recognize your voice, John. Thank you very much.
Wow. And how much did you pay him to call?
I'm a fellow author with the Long Island Author Group.
He asked me how.
Long Island Author Group.
We know each other from the Long Island Authors Group. John is
Oh,
a very
fantastic.
talented man. He's a minister. I believe he's a Lutheran minister who's written several books, and he's a speaker as well. And we have a lot in common and we're good friends.
Well,
he's
I am
watching
delighted to
Facebook
meet
Live.
another author. Could you please make sure I get your contact information too? So, because I want to be interviewing all of the top authors here on Long Island. You think we could do that?
You have the top author.
I know I started
the
at the top,
top.
and I know it's a slippery slope down,
All
but
right, all right.
I can't have him on every week. His wife is going to get mad at me. Well, thank you
All
for
right.
calling.
God bless.
Thank you.
Keep
Thank
up
you
the
very
good
much.
work. Bye now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
That's so funny.
You're fans.
Yeah, that's so funny.
A fan, an author, and smart enough to get our quiz right. And I was worried it was going to be like 5 minutes to the end, and I'll be like, come on, people, I'll do an imitation. Here I am doing an imitation, hoping they'd get it. So that was way too easy that he got that right away.
You smart man.
And you didn't have to pay him to call. See, I paid a lot of people today. You have no idea. I'm paying them now. I have cheese and wine, and we're really doing this up. You?
It's worth it.
They just call out of the goodness of their hearts.
You meet enough people, somebody's bound to like you, you know?
I like you, and I'm glad you came. Well, we're going to hear from our sponsors, and then we're going to play some games and see how our guests do with their book knowledge. So we'll be back in just a minute.
The sun is getting warmer. But when we soar away among the clouds, the sky is just a border. But when we're floating up like helium. The sun is getting warmer. But when we soar away among the clouds, the sky is just a border. But when we're floating up like helium.
Welcome back to Between the Covers. We're going to see just how smart our guests are. Well, actually, our first game here has nothing to do with smart. It's all opinion. Because honestly, books are subjective. It's all opinion. Of course, we're all of the opinion that you're the best author here. And while we were at commercial, Roberta said, I have his book too. Boy, everybody's got your book.
They should.
They should.
That's
I
right.
agree. So we're going to play a game, and we're going to spin the wheel. Depending on where the wheel lands for each of our guests, they're going to have a question to answer about books that they have read, and we'll let them cheat. It could be movies they have seen that were made from a book. Has to be made from a book. And my mother will be allowed to say the word Outlander yet again. Okay? So, Mom, why don't you go up first? Do you want to spin, or do you want me to spin it for you?
Go ahead, you
You
spin.
trust me?
Yes, I
All right.
trust you.
I'm going to give it a big spin, and let's see how it goes. All right. What do we land on?
Pick a prize.
Pick a Boy, how did you get that so quick? Okay, well, check this out. It looks like a book, but it's really a prize box upside down. There we go. Slide it over there and pick your prize.
Oh my goodness, look at this. Shall I go with the peanut butter cup or the coconut cream?
I know, it's tough.
I don't think I'm going to go with one of the eyes. Though.
Yeah, there are eyeballs in there too, just
Yes,
in case.
and spiders.
Yeah, well, you know.
Yeah, I know. Somebody's afraid of spiders.
So you going for the chocolate?
I know. I'm going to take the
coconut cream.
The coconut cream.
All
yes.
right. And now
Oh,
you.
well, I haven't answered the question correctly.
No,
yet.
you just
There's
get to
no
pick a prize.
question.
Oh, you got away with it.
Okay.
Lucky girl.
Everyone's hoping that I'm going to spin for that one. All right, let's see. Ready? All right, what have we got?
Same thing.
Pick a prize. Are you kidding? Okay, my husband drew all these names on here. Did he rig this somehow?
Seems to stop
I'm
right
going to
there.
take the spider.
You're going for
from
the spider.
Halloween to put on my desk.
I don't blame you. All right, Jim might be the first one who has to actually answer a question.
Maybe you should
All
do
right.
it yourself.
Yeah,
Jim.
really, you do it yourself. All right. What have we got there?
It says.
Most embarrassing? I'm embarrassed.
I'm embarrassed that I read. What book are you embarrassed to admit that you've read it? Have another sip of wine, Jim.
50 Shades of Grey.
Did you read that?
No, I didn't. But I would be embarrassed if I did read it.
Good answer.
Terrified me
I'm
there.
embarrassed now just saying it. See, this is keeping in the theme of red. My face. Now,
I was about to say, did you read the book or watch the movie? I'm getting a little nervous here. That's actually one of the most abandoned books. I was telling you, Roberta, that there's a list out, and I was, looking through
Right.
different things, of most abandoned books. Books that people have started reading and then never finished.
And then said, ick.
And it's clocked by a bunch of different things. Sometimes it's in the library that
Right.
they're left there on a table. Like someone took it off the shelf and they left it on a table and they never checked out the book, so those are registered as most abandoned. And I have a little list here of most abandoned books, and 50 Shades of Grey is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So Jim Ryan abandoned the book in the library.
That works.
All right, I'm going to try. Maybe I'll win my own prizes. What did I get?
Characters I want to meet.
Oh, character I want to meet. I mean, I could take the high road and say Jesus because he's the star of the Bible. And I would like to,
Only half of it, though.
Okay, so I could, go for the big God. But if it was a regular book character, I'm going to go for Harry Potter or Dumbledore or somebody in that magical kind of a realm. So I can go with the purely spiritual, it's going to help my life, or I can go for, how did you do that? Kind of a trick. You're up.
Hermione, she was really smart.
I like
Okay,
Hermione.
Go. Character I
detest.
Okay.
Oh God,
So-
she's going to mention Outlander again, isn't she?
Yeah. In Outlander,
I think we're up to 3. 2?
only 2? Okay. I'll see if I can do better. Blackjack Randall.
Blackjack Randall. And now she's not going to tell us. She's going to make us all read the 1,000-page book to find out who Blackjack Randall is.
Blackjack Randall it concerns Scotland in the 1700s, and Blackjack Randall is an Englishman, one of those, anybody who's read about what it's like to have been in a country owned by England and not be English can only guess.
All right, Blackjack Randall.
Blackjack Randall.
He needs a little Jim Ryan Simple Happiness to fix him up, doesn't he?
Absolutely.
All right, you're up. You ready?
I don't know about that.
Maybe you'll win a prize again. Let's see.
Books that define me?
Book that defines me. What does you relate to the most?Id you read and you said, that sounds just like me? We're hoping Simple Happiness, but it could
Yeah,
be.
that works. That works. Then I don't have to think so hard. Simple Happiness made me think about going from the negative thoughts, which were hurting me, to thinking positive, and it helped me get on the road for my new business.
Boy, we're
Good
just
for you.
really exploding his ego here today. I don't know.
But that happens to be the truth.
All right, Jim, you're up. Spin it.
Hold it.
Yep.
My most read book.
What book did you read the most often? Besides Simple Happiness. That can't be the answer to everything.
I probably The Success Principles by Jack Canfield.
Oh, I've heard Jack Canfield. He's the one who writes the Chicken Soup for the Soul.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And
The Success Principles, huh?
yeah, it's a book like mine, but much better.
Oh!
It's much different.
Much different. It's got,
Much
Okay.
different.
you know, it's again a good book that just gives you. It's a realistic book about how to make yourself a better person. The Success Principles, whether it's business, whether it's life. And another one is Stephen Covey, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective
I've heard of
People.
that one too. I know what I'm
I
buying
read both
today.
of those.
Boy, oh boy, I need to start reading these books. Well, we got some good recommendations here from
Yeah,
books.
yeah, 2 good books.
And 50 Shades of Grey. You're just mentioning all
You
of
got to
them.
have a little both, you know, a little balance.
All right, so everyone's going to run over to Amazon, place some orders for these books, and we're going to hear from our sponsors, and we'll be up in just a minute. Welcome back to Between the Covers. Well, we found out some great book recommendations, and now we're going to see how smart our guests really are. Each time we're going to see a picture of a scene from a book and a quote, and we're going to see if the 3 of you can name that book. So let's look at our first picture here. Okay, and the quote says, "The great fish moved silently through the night water."
We don't have the bells.
Oh, yes, I should have given out your bells because, you know, like a library. When you know your answer, ring the bell. The great fish moved silently. I heard an answer from the audience. Let's see our second slide, because if that one didn't give it away, our second one will. Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water.
Jaws.
Jaws, terrific. Now, here's the question. Who wrote it?
Benchley.
Ooh,
Benchley.
Peter
Benchley.
Benchley.
I knew it started with a B. I couldn't.
Very nice. And thank you to our audience who knew the book too. Very good. All right, let's look at our next book. As God is my witness, I'll never be hungry again, Mom.
Oh, that's got to be Gone with the Wind.
Ooh, let's see the second slide and see if she's right. Yup, frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. All right, let's ask the big question. Who's the author?
Margaret Mitchell.
All right, yes.
Wow.
Yes, our guests and our audience got it. Margaret Mitchell. Okay, let's look at our third slide. You know, at times like this, perhaps extinct animals should be left extinct.
Jurassic Park.
Woo! Very nice. Let's look at our next one, and that'll confirm it. Yes.
Oh yeah, I love those movies.
God created dinosaurs. God kills dinosaurs. God creates man. Man kills God. Man brings back dinosaurs. Jurassic Park. And Smarty Pants. Who's the author? Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I just saw the movie.
Woo! Yes!
Oh, wow, that's right.
Thank you to our audience, and we've got some smart people watching tonight. Let's look at our next one. I hope you're pleased with yourselves. We could have all been killed, or worse, expelled. Why don't you show us the next slide, and maybe we'll get it from that one. Of course course it is happening inside your head, Harry. But why on earth should that mean it's not real? I see my mother poised over her bell there. Go ahead, ring the bell.
Oh, which Harry Potter? Do I have to tell you which Harry Potter?
Well, I think that I cheated and took them from 2 different books.
Oh, thank God.
I know that second quote was from the last book. I'm not sure about the first quote. I admit I liked the quote. My husband, who was helping me make the slideshow, which is why he can't be a guest, because he helps make the game, so he can't be a guest if he helps make. And he was insisting we have to be from the same book. I said, but I like the quote. So my purist husband, we'll have to think of a different game when he's on, because he had that down. Okay, and our last one. Let's see how we do on our last one. May the hair on your toes never fall out. All right. I guess we'll have to go to our second slide. Farewell, O Gandalf. May you ever appear where you're most needed and least expected. Any answers? Oh, we should know this by now.
50 Shades of Grey.
Yes! It's not 50 Shades of Grey, your favorite book of all times, most read, most embarrassed. Yes, yes. What is it? Come on.
Is it The Hobbit?
It's The Hobbit by...
Oh, J.R.R. Tolkien.
Very good. All right. So we do have smart guests on today. I'm delighted to hear that. Well, I have a little something for each of my guests because you were so smart. A little something for your Halloween decorations.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Because you all win a prize because you were all fabulous. Now, I mentioned about those discarded books, books that are the most often abandoned books. Now, I have a list here of 6 books, 3 classics and 3 newer books. And 50 Shades of Grey is one of the newer books that was most abandoned. Any guesses on what one of the other books might be, classic or newer? Is there a book that you've abandoned, that you started and said, I can't do this? And I'll give you a hint. One of them was alluded to here.
One of them was alluded to?
Except it's the full 3-book trilogy.
The Hobbit.
What's the other 3 books?
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings is actually one of the most abandoned books. I was shocked.
That's amazing.
I loved that.
Yeah.
I loved the Lord of the Rings. But
I abandoned it.
and you abandoned it, did you?
I abandoned it too.
Too much, too boring, too many
much.
hobbits singing songs
Too many
and
hobbits.
rhymes and...
I like reality.
And I like nonfiction.
Okay, with all due respect, if you like reality and you like nonfiction, why did you even start it?
I wanted to see what it was like.
Okay, granted, did you see the movie?
No.
Oh, the movies are really good.
The movies are great.
You know, and if you have popcorn, you won't abandon it because the movies are really good.
Oh, that's good to know. I'll go rent it.
They cut a lot.
I
mean, I love the books. I absolutely adore the books, but I thought they did a beautiful job with the movies. I really did. Did you see the movies?
No.
No books, no movies. I'm done. I want
Not interested.
reality. So why'd you start?
Everybody's talked about it. So I figured, let me see what this is all about.
So even Jim Ryan gives into peer pressure. I'm kind of relieved to hear that. I was beginning to think you were the all perfect and you wouldn't give into peer pressure. Next book on the classics list, they put that on the classics list. There's a little right there, but Ulysses by James Joyce.
Oh, really?
Anybody here read Ulysses by James Joyce? Anyone here abandon Ulysses by James Joyce? I didn't even get started.
never
I must
heard of the
admit.
book.
Yeah, and the next one that was the most abandoned is Moby Dick.
Really?
Did you
Oh,
like
that's
it?
surprising.
Did you actually read any of these books?
Yeah, I read The Lord of the Rings.
I know. You just didn't want to, you wanted to sound like. Now, under the newer books, 50 Shades of Grey, a book that I adore, in fact, I have it in my pile here that I just read, Eat, Pray, Love,
Is abandoned?
is abandoned.
Why are you...
Ah.
Okay, I loved that book. In fact, any of our viewers, I would love to do an episode on Eat, Pray, Love. I want to know how many Eat, Pray, Love marriages are out there. I want to know how many Eat, Pray, Love divorces are out there. I want to know how many of you bought a plane ticket to Indonesia after. I think it's a great book.
I saw the movie.
You saw the movie? I didn't see the movie. I read the book. I loved the book. I want to see the movie. I'm shocked that they abandoned it. I mean, look at it. It's a little thick. So maybe that's the problem.
I loved it.
I loved it too. I don't know. So if you're one of the people who abandoned it, please write in the comments. I'm shocked. And the last one that they abandoned the most was The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo by Stieg Larsson. I know you loved that.
All of them. I read all of them.
Now, I loved The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, and I thought, this is great. There's a whole series. And I read the next one about 30 pages in. And
I wasn't
said,
crazy about the second one, but I did finish it because
I couldn't
you
finish
know.
it. It was like
And then I
enough
read
already.
the third one.
I was done. I loved the first one, and then I started the second one, and then I just couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
I absolutely couldn't do it
I think he
anymore.
died someplace and somebody else finished it.
In fact, there's a movie that's coming out right now from another book in the series, but he didn't write the
Right,
book.
yeah.
Somebody else took up the cause. See, you can be eternal, because I'm not that we're trying to get you to die, but someday there'll be people writing in the style of Jim Ryan.
Why not? Why not?
Like your fans who are calling us. They're all waiting to take up the torch, but don't go anywhere.
I'm not going anywhere.
Thank you. Thank you. Other news from publishing. This I loved. Listen to this. A spate of global phishing scams attempting to access publishing houses and steal their manuscripts is going on. Hackers are trying to steal book manuscripts from Penguin Random House and from Rand Macmillan and all sorts of big publishing houses. They're trying to steal. I love that. They want to read. That's what it means to me. They want to read. Well, we want to read too. So I am thrilled. If people are trying to steal manuscripts, I mean, I know it's a crime. And maybe you'll end up in jail, and then you get to meet Jim.
Only if you're DWI'd.
I don't know if you get to meet Jim if you steal manuscripts.
Right.
But maybe he'll move into that division next. But I am delighted if people are reading. I know I read into that completely the wrong way. Well, I hope that we've inspired you to read something by joining us here on Between the Covers. Please come back, write in with your own favorite book so we know what to feature, and we're going to try to get Jim back. But if we can't get him, we have a slew of fabulous authors coming up. So thank you for joining us for our premiere episode of Between the Covers. Woo! I said 3 books thinking the 2 of you and whoever called in with the right answer.
Right.
And he had a book and you had a book, so you're saving me money on buying.